I think it says a lot about where I'm at with the MCU right now. That what ultimately made me go, "Oh, I guess I will watch it," was finding out Matthew Lillard was in it. Daredevil, Born Again, Season 2, first episode of the new season. Well, I'll say right off the bat, it's off to a better start than the first season was. My feelings about Daredevil, Born Again are generously mixed, largely negative. I feel like there were some things that I liked about it, but honestly, I have a hard time remembering them now. The things that I didn't like about it stand out in my head so much more than what was good about it. So I was not super excited to to watch this. But this is a solid start. There's some concerns. I'm a little bit worried about where they might go with some things, but it's a solid start. We have Matt and Karen sort of in semi-hiding. Matt's keeping a low profile. Karen is legitimately trying to hide right now. And we have Fisk, the Kingpin, continuing to put even more energy and force behind his anti-vigilante task force. And we've got the curfew going on, and we have some of the reports from BB, on the ground, which on surface appear to be kind of supportive of Fisk. Although we also have this sort of counter programming with somebody in a Wilson Fisk mask. I strongly suspect that is also BB. I think to cleanse her own conscience, she's doing her own counter programming. But I'm sure we'll find out sooner or later. I suppose since I touched on it, one of my so there's stuff that the show's doing that I'm like, that's good, asterisks. So with the crackdown going on and having, people who are New Yorkers go like, yeah, like maybe it's a little much, but things are good. That's not a bad angle to go. You have to be real careful about how you handle it, though. First of all, you have to be real clear about who it is who thinks this is actually good, and make it also very clear that it's not. They're kind of doing the second one. I have concerns about the first one, though, because I could not help but notice that all of the people who show up in BB's little report thing going, oh yeah, things are great now, were people of color. And not that I'm saying that, there aren't people of color who could get behind that, but I don't know. Something feels a little weird about a city being swarmed by armed men in flak jackets who are just tossing people around with impunity. We'll get to that in a minute. And the people who are like, oh no, it's good actually, are not white people. Not any of them. Like in universe, I'm sure the case was like, well, BB's a person of color. She's mostly talking to people of color. Like, okay, but like optics, it's off. It's weird. And maybe they'll address this. Maybe we'll get a sense of like how many people she interviews who she doesn't use, because again, her public facing is trying to be on Fisk's good side. So maybe they'll balance that. But right now, first impression, like that's off. I feel like the people going, yeah, armed men in the street wouldn't be black people. I don't know. I feel like minority communities are usually the first ones to ring the alarm bell on this, not the first to co-sign it. Again, unintentional, I'm sure. Optics were off, though, on that. Relatedly, I actually think it's a very good idea to pretty much push this task force in a very ICE direction. You have them with the armor, with the name of the agents. It's not even really an agency, but the task force acronym right on their chest, just bursting into a Greek restaurant and punching the owner, throwing people around with impunity, no warrants, no due process. They just do whatever they want. Yeah, like they kind of set themselves up for this, but with everything that's been going on, this feels like a pretty deliberate, like, yeah, we're kind of talking about stuff like ICE right now, and it feels like they're leaning a lot harder into that, and I think that's a good call, because otherwise it would have been kind of a missed opportunity that, like, you are set up to comment on the moment, and you're just not doing it. But no, they are. There is something tangentially related to that is not a problem yet, but I'm a little worried about. The show needs to be careful about not making too many direct parallels between Fisk and Trump. Like, there are some that are going to be there. He has his armed task force, the level of open corruption that he somehow still gets away with. I understand those parallels are going to exist regardless, but they need to be careful about not overplaying too many parallels between him and Trump. If for no other reason, then there's a very core difference between Wilson Fisk and Trump, which is that Wilson Fisk is not an idiot. It actually the line that made me uncomfortable was when BB's like, oh, he's playing like 10th dimensional chess. I'm like, that's the stuff that Trump's supporters say about him. So that's why I'm worried about Fisk becoming too much of a Trump analog, because if you're saying stuff like that about him and you're paralleling him to that freaking guy, like, that makes me concerned, because then it's like you're saying he's dangerous because he's smart. No, he's dangerous because he's the world's stupidest giant toddler. And he's in a position of power he should never have been in. Again, there are some parallels that will exist regardless. I'm not saying it's overdone it yet. It's just one of those things I'm like, be careful about that. Watch that balance. I got into concerns a lot earlier than I wanted to. I suppose I'll knock out my last one since I'm already here, though. The action scenes are okay. Like, the fight choreography looks like it's very good. I don't like the editing. It's over chopped up. It's not like to Jason Bourne movie levels. It's not that choppy, but there were way too many. I wanted those shots to last longer. And if I were to guess, I suspect that they probably didn't have the time to get these fights to look good enough in long extended shots, so they're just cutting up to cover that. And that's not me saying like the stunt team's bad, or I suspect that not enough time and or resources were given over to these fight scenes. And like, there's like one really weird moment where Matt, like, he like steps, I think he's stepping on a guy's wrist or something, and he just does this yell to the sky. It's like this weird anime moment, like, ah! Like, what are you doing, dude? What was that? I don't know. What? Minor. Moving past all that, let's get to the good stuff. Performances are still good. Charlie Cox, still really good in this part. Vincent D'Onofrio, freaking amazing. Such perfect casting as Wilson Fisk. They've got him and Vanessa functional again. Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, I'm not saying that, like, there was no good stuff that came out of their marriage difficulties last season, but the thing is, I love them together because they're contributing to a horrible thing, and I love their weird power couple dynamic being terrible people, and I didn't like seeing that faltering in the previous season, so seeing it like basically back where it was, more or less, at least that's the impression I'm getting. So happy with that, loving it. I already mentioned Matthew Lillard. I mean, he shows up in literally anything, and it's gonna make me happy. And I'm liking what I'm seeing about his character, Mr. Charles. That's clearly an alias, which makes me wonder if there's going to be any kind of reveal with him. Not like a massive real reveal, but like an Easter eggy reveal. Like, it's going to turn out he is actually a character from the comics who they just haven't identified yet. I don't know. Maybe not. It won't really matter. But I love him rolling up, just being very casually abrasive. Not getting in people's faces, but just being abrasive by how not serious he appears to be. And then in the moment just being like, okay, look, ultimately my job's logistics. And I understand that you have people who are loyal, who you think could do this. Are you willing to kill them afterwards? Because that's what needs to happen. And it's like, I love the energy he brings, and I love how well it contrasts, especially with Fisk and Vanessa. And I like characters like this in general. I like characters who come in and are like, look, you're not going to like me, but you need me. So let's do this. And I'm already liking him quite a bit. We get little hints as to this version of Bullseye. And I'm hopeful, because I have never liked this version of Bullseye. Like, his escape in season 2, that was some good Bullseye stuff. But by and large, the way they've handled the character, I don't like him. I don't think it's a particularly good or interesting take on Bullseye. That having been said, like, him taking out the task force members who have bested Matt, that gives me some hope that they're going to be taking him into what I tend to think of as a wild card villain direction. The kind of guy who's definitely a problem, but also appears to basically be on nobody's side. He's doing his own thing, and he's not really a benefit either to the main heroes or the main villains. He's just a problem for everybody. I like characters like that, and Bullseye is a good character to do that kind of thing with. So they might finally be doing something with him that I can get on board for. And that would be lovely, because I haven't enjoyed not liking this version of Bullseye. So yeah, please give me that. I'll take that. The one other thing, this isn't even really a point of concern yet, but just the thing I'm going to keep an eye on is I can't remember her name. I couldn't remember her name last season either. But Matt's ex-psychologist girlfriend, who's now helping Fisk and who is, the one who was interrogating the swordsman and, changing his answers so she can make him look more psychotic, or indeed psychotic at all, because he's not. The thing that they need to be careful about there is she's obviously having a trauma response from what happened to her previous season, and that's fair. They do need to be careful about the idea of like trauma makes you a terrible person or makes you do terrible things. And I'm saying I'm not even concerned about that yet. I am just keeping an eye on it because it really does feel like they are putting the overall weight of she is doing this, yes, but she is conflicted because she hasn't fully processed what happened. Like they do this tilt angle with her at a couple of key moments. She's seeing the guy who she had to kill last season. Like dealing with the impacts of trauma and PTSD or any form of it in media is always dicey, not because it can't be done well, but because I feel like it's handled delicately a minority of times. They haven't blown it yet, and I am just kind of be like, all right, let's see where you go with this. I don't have quite the same level of concerns as I did with, like, say, BB's reporting, where it's like, I feel like you've already kind of stepped on the wrong foot, just don't keep going that way. This is a little bit more like, I haven't seen you firmly step right or wrong yet, I'm just keeping an eye on you. But I just think back to the first episode last time, and it just had that garbage opening fight with that terrible CGI smoke, and they killed Foggy immediately. And I just remember the previous season just getting off on the wrong foot immediately. Immediately, I'm like, oh God, none of this is going right. I don't have that feeling here. There's a lot more of a sense of build, and that sense of the grip that Fisk has over the city. That feels decently established, and I have hope. That's terrifying, because look, Daredevil, even on Netflix, season 1 was amazing, and then there's a couple of decent bits in season 2, not many, and like season 3 is, well, it's better than season 2, but it doesn't even come close to being season 1 good. So like I've been let down by this property a lot, despite it having really well cast performers and having the right tone. So I don't know, we'll see. But it's a better start than last time, and it's a good enough start that I have some hope. I also have some concerns. We'll see where it goes. Daredevil Born Again season premiere. What did you think of this one? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills. It enables me to do this as my living. Even if you can't help me out that way, like, share, subscribe. Those all help. Don't worry too much about it, though. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can just come on back next time you need a break. And now to thank my highest supporting patrons: Robin Moore, Jared Boyce, Zubin Lafula, Auntie Kate 808, Mara G, Angry Casperol, Dave Hall, Oliver B, Mystic Shadow, Sean Miller, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Melissa Pedersen, Becky Sparks, Ulrich, Twilord, Tracy Scrabbit, Pau Barabajoggle, Sir Didymus is my favorite, and to thank some folks from the lower tiers: Cyborg Ex Machina, Alex, and Lightning Spirit. I've been saying Angry Casperol for ages, and I almost said Angie Casperol. You are distracting, the whole lot of you.